maybe we finally got through to him that this is not going well.
Now, we were waiting to hear this time yesterday what would happen in Elon Musk's Twitter vote. You'd usually think, who cares about a Twitter poll? But on this one, he was saying if he lost, he would leave the company. He'd still own it, but he would leave as the chief executive. Well, that vote ended yesterday. He hasn't gone yet. I've been speaking to Ross Gerber, co-founder and CEO of the investment firm Gerber Kawasaki. He's an investor in both Twitter and Tesla. He knows Elon Musk, and he told me that Musk genuinely didn't know which way the vote would go.
No, I don't think he knew which way it was going to go at all. I think that's part of it. I don't think he's that self-aware of the criticism he's been receiving, because I think when you're extremely successful like he is, you're typically surrounded by people who don't want to criticize you. And so it's very hard to get an accurate assessment of your performance when everybody says you're great. And so I think this was a way for him to get a more, obviously a very broad view. 17 million people voted. And I think I was surprised that actually such a majority voted against it. But that was actually what I wanted.
And am I right in saying that you've invested in both Tesla and Twitter?
Correct.
I wonder if now you feel like that the investment in Twitter was a mistake, seeing what's happened to the share price since he took over.
No. I don't think it's a mistake at all. I think if you want to go back, obviously we can always go back in hindsight and say, boy, I wish I didn't do that. But that's not the way it is. He bought the company, and I think there's a lot of good he can do with this company. And I think when you look at platforms like TikTok, which are just like horrible for everybody, and it's a Chinese manipulating site, and we don't need that, and the damage Facebook and Instagram has done to people's self-esteems and our society, there really isn't a lot of healthy social platforms. And
so you would like him to go, a new person to come in as CEO, but surely as owner he will still have tremendous influence over them. And so would all of the problems associated Elon go with him? Not necessarily.
Well, right. I think most of the problem is him trying to arbitrate decisions that are very difficult, that are out of his wheelhouse, like journalism, journalists getting banned, for example, that really shouldn't have been banned. You really can't be a free speech absolutist unless it comes to public information about where my plane is flying. It just doesn't work that way. And if you're the person in charge of this platform, in a way, you have to sacrifice something to have this free speech. And it was clear that he wasn't actually willing to sacrifice his own personal safety for this. So free speech is something that people sacrifice their personal safety for in countries all around the world. And that's something that I think Elon didn't account for.
And there's also been a knock-on effect at Tesla, which, as I mentioned, you're an investor in that as well. Tesla shares, when Elon Musk took over Twitter, were $225. I probably don't need to remind you of this. Tesla shares closed on Friday at $150 a share, so down from $225 to $150. All these problems at Twitter, they could just follow him back to Tesla if that's where he returns, as you want.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, nobody's going to ask him about free speech when it comes to building batteries. Like when you're talking about building robots and batteries and Cybertrucks, this is his wheelhouse. This is where he's king. This is where he should be, So when he comes back to Tesla, there's going to be employees giving him a round of applause and a standing ovation. Everybody wants him back. So nobody wants him at Twitter, and everybody wants him back at Tesla. It seems like a no-brainer. When you build a company from scratch like Tesla and you go into a Tesla factory, it'll blow your mind. The work ethic, the motivation, the team is phenomenal. I'm super motivated anytime I go anywhere near Tesla. When you go over to the Twitter office, you've got the laziest, most entitled, most just pathetic work ethic. It's a camp. It was like a camp of people who had this power, who loved wielding the power more than making anybody money or caring about any result on anything other than their influence on society. And, unfortunately, that's not a culture that's going to build a successful business. And Twitter was not successful previously, and nor was it ever profitable, and nor did the stock ever go up. And that's why it got taken over. So it got taken over because it was poorly run and cheap. It wasn't taken over because this was some great asset. It would have never been affordable if Twitter was run right. So I think he's just taken on an incredibly difficult thing. That's what I think.
Just finally, Mr. Gerber, we're assuming that he is going to go and he's going to abide by this poll that he put on Twitter. He might not, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he might not go, and the problems at Twitter might get worse. Your stock will devalue further. If that's the case, what do you do? What do you and other investors do? Where do you go next? Can you force him out?
Well, no, no, I don't. Look, Elon is a smart man, and I think that for the first time, and since he took over Twitter, he's starting to pay attention to people like me and Tesla shareholders and the media and what's happening to him. So I think maybe we finally got through to him that this is not going well,
Mm.
um, and that was really my goal in announcing that I'm going to run for the board of Tesla, as well as putting a lot of pressure, as much pressure as I can through the Tesla community to bring Elon home. We all really love and respect Elon and his contribution to society and to the business world, and of course the wealth he's created for me, my family, and my investors over time has been tremendous, even despite the decline. And we expect tremendous wealth to be created over the next 10 years with Tesla as well. So this is a blip, and we've had a few of these blips before, and at the time they feel super painful.
Mm.
But Elon kind of likes pain, and this in a way brings out the best in Elon. It's kind of weird. That's just the way he is. And so I hope that we're now in the stage where he rallies back and we get phenomenal results from him. And so I'm hoping that we're turning the corner here. This is a positive sign.
That's Ross Gerber, co-founder and CEO of the investment firm Gerber Kawasaki, who is an investor in both Tesla and Twitter, and yes, still awaiting something after that Elon Musk poll finished yesterday.